All right, guys, we're going to spend a little time right now breaking down my top 20 quarterbacks in the 2022 NFL Draft. Now, you want to read this full article for yourself, which I highly encourage you to do because it's going to give a lot better explanation than I can here in 5 or 6 minutes. For each of these players, we'll go through their physical measurements, their production, as well as some of their physical limitations and traits as well, you can see. So there's a lot of analysis in these player prospect profiles. But again, if you want to get all of that, go down to the description and click the link there. I will link you right to my newsletter, which has this post, one of my posts for all the positional rankings for the 2022 NFL Draft. It's all free to access. Again, the link for that will be in the description. But quarterback one for me, the only guy I consider potentially going in the first round is Malik Willis because of his traits and purely because of his traits. He has the arm strength, he's got the mobility. He's made some terrible decisions, and I think this control of the pocket is very questionable. But in terms of everyone else in this draft, he's the only one I would consider having the upside being worth taking in the first round. After that, some guys who I think could potentially go, like sneak into the back end of the first round or just go early in the second round. Desmond Ritter at 2, Kenny Pickett at 3, Sam Howell at 4. Those are the only guys I consider to really be in that range. Ritter was actually pretty improved this past year. Still has a lot of accuracy issues. He's got a little bit of a weird delivery, and his deep ball doesn't always have all the juice behind it because of how his release is set up. So there are issues there, but he's overall pretty consistent. And you know what you're going to get with him. Whereas Kenny Pickett, 1 year of elite quarterback play, and he spends more time. Well, his time to throw is longer than Justin Fields was last year, and Justin Fields got murdered in the pre-draft process by everyone for holding the ball too long. Kenny Pickett, who is nowhere near the athlete that Justin Fields is, holds the ball even longer. So I think that's going to be a major issue, especially in the NFL. So Pickett, I have at quarterback 3. Then I have Sam Howell at quarterback 4. This guy's been a really good college quarterback since he was a freshman, and he was still very productive this past year, even after the offense had changed a lot because they lost so many pieces in the NFL. He's not a pocket passer, really. He's not a shotgun pass. Well, he's not an under center guy. He's not really used to those things to some extent because of the offense he played in. But I do think he might be worth taking a shot on because of what we've seen from him so far while having to adapt to losing a lot of his top weapons. And in late second round or early third round selections, Matt Corral and Carson Strong. I lump these two together because Corral, while he uses his legs a lot, he's a very small and slight frame, one I could see being very easily damaged in the NFL if he tries to do that in the league. And he had a lot of schemed up passes. I mean, a lot of his production was schemed up from that offense they run in Ole Miss, which you will not get in the NFL. So I think Matt Corral kind of floats a little bit in limbo for me because I really don't know what he would look like in a pro-style offense. Carson Strong, some air raid concepts in the Nevada offense. Obviously, a tremendous arm, one of probably the top 2 arms in this draft class, up there with Malik Willis. But the knee injury, I really don't know. Even he's going to be a statue quarterback anyways for his entire career. But the knee injury is concerning in terms of his ability to even drive off that knee or even plant and use the knee to throw. Long term, there'll be a bit of an issue with that. And I'm not really comfortable with Carson Strong, especially for myself at Senior Bowl as well. I think there are a lot of concerns there that he does not transition to the NFL and is probably a better college quarterback than he will be a pro quarterback. Then we get into guys who I would see maybe 4th round, 5th round. Bailey Zappi is all by himself, in my opinion. Didn't play in a pro-style offense at all at Western Kentucky. Yeah, he had tremendous numbers. He's not going to get those opportunities in the NFL. 6th rounders, E.J. Perry from Brown. He's got pretty good mobility, and people will buy into those traits. But he turned the ball over quite a bit in college and didn't score many touchdowns. And again, he's not playing elite competition either, so that's concerning. Akil Glass from Alabama, A&M is at 6, or at 9, excuse me. Very small hands, right around the Kenny Pickett range. But a player that's got really good arm talent. I think he can reach at all 3 levels. I've seen him drive balls in between 3 defenders before and hit guys in stride, dropping it in the bucket 60 yards downfield. So he can do a lot of different things with his arm, and he's a very proven player with tremendous career production at Alabama A&M. 7th round guys who I think could go, and I'm not saying all these guys will go, but some of them probably will. Jack Cohen from Notre Dame has some arm talent, some traits, but I think if you just watched him at Notre Dame, knowing he got benched a little bit this past year, knowing he had to transfer there from Wisconsin because he lost that starting job, Yeah, I wouldn't draft him, but I think there's a chance he goes to get drafted in the 7th round. Dustin Crumb from Kent State, Caleb Albury from Western Michigan, a guy who didn't really play in a pro-style offense very much at all. So it's kind of unknown about what he'll do in the NFL. Brock Purdy from Iowa State was hot 2 years ago in 2019. Seems to be too limited of a guy to really contribute in the NFL. It's too limited of a prospect. And then Cole Kelly from southeastern Louisiana, very big dude, listed at 6'7", 260 pounds, really good arm strength. Just a lot of question marks with someone like that. So I really don't know what you'll get out of him, but I think he's actually got to be worth the 7th round pick because there are so many question marks, and he has a chance of hitting, I guess you could say, and turning into something more so than even someone like maybe Brock Purdy, who is just very consistent. You know what you're getting in him. Cole Kelly, a more volatile prospect. And then guys who I expect to be undrafted free agents, but sign with teams obviously and compete for roster spots. In the offseason, Chase Garber from Cal. Skylar Thompson from Kansas State, who I know a lot more people are higher on than I am. I just think he's almost too limited of a prospect to get drafted, although I could see him in the 7th round. I could see almost anyone in the 7th round. De'Ara King from Miami, who's going to try to play a bit of a wide receiver quarterback hybrid role in the NFL. And the fact that he's even not 20th because he's so small, the fact that he's not 20th kind of gives you an understanding of how this quarterback class is shaking up. Eric Barriere, I believe is how you pronounce his last name from what I've listened to. Quarterback from Eastern Washington, very productive in college. So that's something to keep an eye on. But just also a very small player, someone you don't really see at his size succeed in the NFL. And he doesn't have the mobility of a Kyler Murray. Levi Lewis, quarterback from Louisiana. Again, a really good college quarterback, a really small frame. Not a tremendous running threat either. Not a Kyler Murray level agility guy. And then Chris Oladokun, one of the most fun to say last names in this draft class from South Dakota State. I think there's going to be some teams actually that are going to be much higher on him than I am. But obviously from his ranking at 20th here, I am not very high on him. And some honorable mentions, Anthony Brown, quarterback from Oregon, Davis Cheek from Elon, Zarek Cooper from Jacksonville State, Mackenzie Milton from Florida State, Nick Starko from San Jose State. And then Jarrett, I can't even try to pronounce the last name because I know I'm going to mess it up. I've heard it before, from Washington State. Didn't really start that much in the past couple of years, so that's why he's not ranked. But if you want to get the full breakdown and access to the full prospect profiles of all these players, go on to the link in the description. Click that. It's all free. You can go in and check them all out for yourself. And a lot of time and effort went to this. There's thousands of words here to break down all these quarterbacks. I would highly encourage just giving it a shot. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching, and hope to talk to you all